Welcome, traveler of dreams. You've arrived at the threshold of night, where stories drift like clouds and forgotten pages flutter quietly through time. This is Dream Atlas, your sanctuary of sleep, where the past breathes softly and each whisper leads you further into dreams. Tonight, we invite you to wander through the silent halls of vanished wisdom, to walk among ruins where libraries once stood tall, to turn the invisible pages of books now lost to fire, conquest, or secrecy. From the sacred writings of ancient Babylon, kept hidden in temple vaults, to the vast knowledge of Alexandria, consumed by flame and legend, to the forbidden codices of the Maya, silenced by invaders and veiled in jungle mist. You will hear their echoes now. Slowly, gently, like leaves falling in moonlight. Breathe deeply. Let your thoughts drift. The first dream begins in the shadowed sands of Mesopotamia. Breathe in, dear dreamer, and out. Let the day drift behind you now as you step into the stillness of a night carved in clay. We begin in Babylon, more than 2,000 years ago, in a city crowned by gardens that touch the sky and watched over by gods whose names still echo in the dust. The air is warm and fragrant, with myrrh, sandalwood, and the slow-burning fires of temple incense. The stars overhead form patterns only the ancients truly understood. You walk slowly through narrow corridors of sun-baked stone, guided by the faint glow of torchlight flickering along the walls. Here, in the temple of Nabu, the god of wisdom and writing, the scribes work in silence. They are the keepers of knowledge, the guardians of tablets and secrets. Each morning, they wash their hands in sacred water before lifting their stylus. Each evening, they chant softly to seal their day's work in harmony. You hear one now, a gentle voice among the shadows. Words are breath made eternal. Clay remembers what the wind forgets. The scribes press symbols into wet clay, row after row. Cuneiform, delicate, angular, sharp like starlight on sand. Not all these tablets are for kings. Not all are for priests. Some are hidden deep within the library vaults, sealed in jars of bitumen and marked with sigils that say, "Do not open unless the sky bleeds, for the ears of the gods alone. Knowledge forbidden. Knowledge sacred." A young woman named Turiah sits beneath an oil lamp. She writes with care and reverence, her fingers stained with earth and ash. But Turiah is not recording trade routes or temple inventories. She is transcribing a dream. A dream her mother once told her, of a serpent made of stars and a sea of ink where all lost languages still sing. She hides this tablet behind a false panel in the wall, where no one will find it for millennia. Not until winds shift again. Not until the dreamer returns. You pass her by, and she doesn't see you, for you are only spirit now, a shadow in time. The halls of the Babylonian temple begin to shimmer. The fires dim. The air thickens with memory. You pass shelves lined with thousands of tablets, some cracked, some crumbling, some humming softly to themselves. One tablet falls to the floor. You pick it up. Chap. Its surface glows gently, and as your fingers trace the carved lines, you feel a voice whisper in your ear. Not all knowledge is lost. Some simply sleeps. And with that, you drift into the next dream. The dream deepens, and now the sands shift beneath your feet. The golden bricks of Babylon dissolve into starlit dust, carried eastward by the warm breath of desert wind. You are drifting again, floating gently above the Euphrates, watching moonlight ripple across the water like silver ink. Far ahead, beneath a darkening sky, you see the city of Sippar rise like a mirage. A sacred city of the sun god Shamash, and keeper of one of the most mysterious libraries in the ancient world. This library was never built of stone. It was carved in silence, protected not by walls, but by time, ritual, and the turning of stars. The scribes of Sippar were not ordinary men. They were watchers of the heavens, priest astronomers, trained from childhood to read the language of the sky, to record the breath of Venus, the slow waltz of Jupiter, the eclipses that whispered of, omens and unseen hands. They believed that the gods spoke through light, and they wrote those messages down, not in books, but in star tablets. Each one was a square of dark clay, etched with lines like constellations, dates, movements, patterns of the planets, and always quiet warnings. The moon darkens on the 6th night. A king shall fall. If Venus lingers near the horizon, famine will follow. One by one, these star tablets were stored beneath the Babbar temple, in chambers few were permitted to enter. You find yourself walking down into one now. The stone steps cool beneath your bare feet. The air smells of oil and dry parchment. In the center of the room, an elder scribe named Naram Esu kneels before a great basin of water. He has not spoken for 3 days. He fasts under the orders of the High Oracle. For tonight, he must make a choice. One of the tablets speaks of a great fire, an unseen future where the temple will fall and the knowledge be scattered. He holds in his hands a new tablet, unfired, still soft. A dream has come to him. He sees people of the far future, wearing metal on their wrists, speaking to glowing stones, watching stars through machines. In his vision, they have forgotten the old names, the gods, the language of the skies. So, with slow, deliberate movements, he begins to write a message not for kings or priests, but for you. If you find this, know that the stars still sing. Know that time is a circle, and memory is the wind. Look up, and remember. He buries the tablet beneath the temple's foundation, wrapped in linen and sealed with wax. No one ever finds it, except now, here. You touch the place where it sleeps, and for a brief moment, the entire sky opens above you. Endless, dreamlike, infinite. You see stars being born. You see galaxies forming like spirals of breath. You hear music, notes that rise and fall like tides of ancient fire. And just as quickly, it fades. You are standing at the edge of sleep, the temple behind you, the stars above. The voice of Dream Atlas returns, soft and steady. Close your eyes. Let the night carry you deeper. We are not finished. The fire is waiting. You are floating again, this time over a shore kissed by sapphire tides. The wind smells of salt and ink. The sound of distant waves lulls your thoughts into stillness. Ahead of you rises a towering beacon, the Lighthouse of Alexandria, its flame flickering high above the harbor, guiding dreamers and travelers alike. This is no ordinary port. This is Alexandria, the jewel of Egypt's coast, and once the beating heart of all human knowledge. And within it stood a library, unlike any the world had ever known. You drift closer, passing marble colonnades and bronze statues of forgotten gods. Draped in moonlight, the Great Library stretches out before you, a temple of silence and wonder. You step inside, and instantly you are surrounded by the scent of papyrus, of saffron ink and beeswax candles. Shelves reach to the vaulted ceilings, holding hundreds of thousands of scrolls, each one a whisper from the past. Here is a scroll said to be written by Aristotle's lost student, tracing the migration of stars through golden spirals. Another claims to hold the secrets of Atlantis, recorded by a Phoenician sailor whose name was erased from history. You walk slowly between the aisles, the marble floor cool beneath your steps. Each scroll is unique, some wrapped in silk, others sealed with red wax. You hear them softly humming, not with sound, but with memory. The library is alive. It breathes with knowledge. It dreams alongside you. But something is wrong. The air begins to shift. Heat builds in the walls. Outside, there are voices, shouting, panicked, urgent. You look toward a distant window. Orange light flickers. The fire is coming. This is the night history will forget. The night. The flames will rise, and centuries of wisdom will vanish. You turn a corner and see her, a young philosopher named Callista, her arms full of scrolls. She's trying to save what she can, not the books of kings or generals, but the books of dreamers, stories, maps of stars, songs from distant lands. She kneels beside you and speaks, her voice calm amid chaos. What is lost is never truly gone. Bree, the words we speak in love will always echo. Bree, she places one scroll in your hands. It is warm, faintly glowing. Circles, lines, symbols. Spirals like waves or galaxies. And suddenly, you understand. This scroll was never meant for scholars. It was written for you. A story without words. A memory passed from dream to dream. The room begins to dim. The smoke rises. And yet, there is no fear. Because knowledge never dies. It changes shape. It becomes air. It becomes dream. You step back. The library fading into golden mist. The fire consumes the shelves. But you are already gone. Floating now, deeper still, carrying the story onward. The voice of Dream Atlas returns, gentle as candlelight. Close your eyes, traveler. The next library waits beneath the river. Let the waters guide you. The fire has passed. The smoke has lifted. But Alexandria still lingers. You drift now through a pale morning mist, as if time itself has slowed to a breathless hush. Marble ruins stretch around you. The Great Library is gone, but in its shadow, one final light remains. Her name is Hypatia. Scholar, philosopher, astronomer, and the last guardian of Alexandria's wisdom. You see her seated beneath a colonnade, dressed in a flowing robe of white linen, the color of seafoam and candle ash. Her hair is braided, long and dark, her fingers ink-stained from years of writing. Beside her lies a scroll, the final one. She knows what is coming. The world is changing. The old truths are being silenced. Outside the city, the drums of zealotry grow louder. But here, in this quiet cloister, Hypatia writes, not for power, not for safety, but for memory. To those who live after me, she murmurs aloud, may you find peace in the stars, and courage in your questions. Her scroll contains no formulas, no diagrams of celestial paths. Instead, it holds a dream of a world where all knowledge is shared, where no scroll is burned, no voice silenced. A world where truth is not feared. You sit beside her now, and she looks at you. Yes, you. Her gaze is soft but unyielding, like the moon rising over calm waters. The body is dust, she says, but thought is eternal. She hands you the scroll, and as your fingers close around it, you feel her warmth fade. Her form flickers, and then she is gone. Not in pain, not in fear, but in grace. You open the scroll. It is blank. But as you gaze at it longer, ink begins to appear. Not in any language you recognize, but in lines of light, spirals of understanding, echoes of voices that have not yet spoken. This is her gift, a map through the darkness, a scroll that cannot be destroyed because it lives in you. And as you close it, the sea breeze carries away the dust. Alexandria fades, and you begin to descend. Beneath the earth, beneath the river, into a hidden place, The next library is waiting. A low aquatic tone emerges, like soft drums echoing through stone chambers. The voice of Dream Atlas returns. Below the Nile, where gods sleep and the forgotten dream, we travel next. Deeper now, deeper still. You are no longer walking. You are floating, cradled by gentle currents, drawn downward beneath the still, sacred waters of the Nile. Above you, moonlight dances on the surface, but below, the world changes. You pass beneath the roots of papyrus reeds, past ancient fish carved from ink and legend, past crocodiles who blink slowly at your presence and let you pass unharmed. Here, the Nile is not a river, it is a gate, a guardian of memory, a liquid scroll that has carried stories across centuries, and hidden far beneath its depths, in a place no map dares mark, is the library that time forgot. Few have ever spoken of it. The Temple of Thoth, god of writing and wisdom, was said to rest on an island that sank in a single night. Some say it never existed. Others say it was hidden deliberately to protect what was too powerful to be read. You drift now through a submerged archway, carved in black basalt, inscribed with golden hieroglyphs that shimmer even underwater. A doorway of silence. As you pass through, the water around you begins to glow. Not with light, but with memory. Scrolls, unrolled in mid-current, float by. Their texts protected by magic, older than words. Books made not of papyrus, but of glass, of bone, of breath. It is a library of the soul. It holds the stories of forgotten gods, the dreams of vanished empires, and songs that were never sung aloud. You drift past shelves that shimmer like seaweed. Each volume is alive, whispering, pulsing, softly with light. Each one remembers. And at the heart of it all, in a chamber carved like a lotus flower, you see a figure waiting. He is neither man nor god, but something in between. Eyes like deep water, feathers behind his ears, a scroll unrolling endlessly in his hands. It is Thoth himself, or perhaps a dream of him. He does not speak. He simply turns the scroll toward you, and on it, you see everything. Not in sequence, not in story, but all at once. The rise and fall of kingdoms, the burning of temples, the laughter of children never recorded, the final breath of a queen lost to sand, the first dream of a scribe whose name was erased. All of it held here, still dreaming. You begin to cry, but the tears drift upward, turning into stars. Thoth watches, and then, with the gentlest movement, he places the scroll into the current. It floats toward you. You hold it, and it turns to mist in your hands. Not lost, forgiven. Your eyes close. The Nile fades. The voice of Dream Atlas returns. Some libraries do not burn. They become part of us. Sleep now, dreamer. The jungle calls. The next codex waits among the trees. You awaken in green. Thick vines curl around ancient stone. The earth beneath you is soft with fallen leaves and forgotten time. You are in the heart of a jungle. Not just any jungle. This is the sacred realm of the Maya. Sunlight streams through the high canopy in golden shafts. Everything here pulses with life, with breath, with memory. You walk slowly through a corridor of trees and moss-covered ruins. Path is old, worn by feet that walked here 1,000 years ago, and still it remembers. Ahead, rising from the undergrowth, like a dream carved in stone, stands a stepped pyramid, its sides etched with glyphs so precise they seem to vibrate with unseen music. This is no temple of sacrifice. This is a temple of words. It once housed one of the greatest treasures of the Maya, the codices of the sky serpent. Only 4 of these sacred books survive today, but once there were hundreds. Books written on bark paper, folded like fans, painted with brilliant reds, deep blacks, shining turquoise. They told of stars and time and gods that wore masks of jaguars and moons. And they spoke of the sky serpent, a great being that moved across the heavens. Not just a deity, but a road of stars. Spoken of tall light and presence and moments. Inspiration. Soothe the weight of us. Ra, a cosmic river where dreams flowed like fire. You climb the steps, one by one. Your breath is calm, your heart steady. At the top, a small stone doorway waits. You enter, and the jungle falls silent. Inside, the air is cool, still. It smells of ink and smoke. Dozens of codices are laid out on low stone tables. No guards, no locks. Only the sound of wind outside and the slow turning of sacred pages. A single elder scribe sits at the center of the chamber. Her face is lined, but her eyes are luminous, deep pools of time. She nods, silently inviting you closer. You sit. She places a codex before you. Its pages flutter open on their own, and before your eyes, a story begins to move. Glyphs unfold like wings. Painted gods shimmer into motion. You see the Maya calendar spinning in perfect cycles. The phases of the moon drawn in strokes of obsidian and jade. And then you see you. Not your face, but your presence. Your dream. Written here in a book older than your memory. The dreamer who walks between worlds. The elder scribe murmurs. You've come before, and you'll come again. You touch the page, and the codex lifts from the table, folding itself into a shape like a serpent. It winds around your wrist, not binding, guiding, and with a flash of light, You are no longer inside the pyramid. You are above it, soaring. The jungle stretches out below like an emerald sea. Above you, the sky serpent slithers across the stars, carrying dreams from one end of the cosmos to the other. You ride its back, safe, steady, floating. And far ahead, beneath another stretch of trees, you see a place deeper still. A world beneath the world, where the forbidden books sleep. He, the voice of Dream Atlas, returns, soft and knowing. Not all books were made for every eye. Some were hidden in darkness, waiting for the dreamer brave enough to seek them. The jungle fades behind you. The stars dim. The warmth of the sky serpent's path begins to cool. And now, you stand at the edge of a great cave, its mouth yawning like an ancient wound in the earth. This is not just a cave. It is an entrance, a gate. The Maya called it Xibalba, the underworld, the place of fear, of tests, of shadows. But you are not here to be judged. You are here to find what was hidden. And so, with a steady breath, you step inside. Instantly, the world shifts. The air grows dense, almost liquid. Your footsteps make no sound. Only the faint flicker of blue torchlight guides your way, and the faint hum of ancient voices whispering in a language that seems older than sound. Xibalba is not a place of punishment. It is a place of transformation. It is said that here, the Maya Lords of Night built a library to house knowledge too dangerous for the surface world. Books that spoke of the beginning and the end, of gods who rebelled, of calendars that extended beyond all reckoning. You walk through corridors carved in obsidian, where the walls shimmer with strange reflections, but none of them are yours. You descend deeper, passing stone guardians with skulls for faces and eyes carved from quartz. Finally, you reach it, a vast chamber lit by an impossible light. Not flame, not moon, but something in between. This is the library of the Lords below. No shelves, no scrolls. Instead, stone slabs floating in midair, each one etched with sacred glyphs that rearrange themselves as you watch. Some slabs glow red. These are the books of power. Others are wrapped in thick vines, books of prophecy not yet ready to bloom. And then there are the black slabs, silent, unmoving. Books so ancient, so knowing, that they can only be read in dreams. One of them begins to drift toward you. It hums, not with sound, but with memory. You reach out. The moment your fingers graze the cold stone, your mind floods with images. A pyramid sinking into the sea. A child dreaming of a tree that sings. A star falling into a river made of time. A language made entirely of breath. Then, a voice, deep, kind, and endless. You do not need to understand. You only need to remember. You close your eyes, and when you open them again, the slab is gone. But something remains inside you. A seed of story, A dream planted. You turn to leave, but the path has changed. You are no longer in Shibalba. You are back in the jungle. Only now it is dusk. The trees glow softly, and fireflies spell silent words in the air. You are ready. The final city calls. The voice of Dream Atlas returns, warm and steady. We have wandered the stars, walked beneath the waters, and braved the underworld. Now, traveler, we journey to the last library, in a city carved into time itself. You are rising now. The jungle thickens behind you, but ahead there is stone. Old stone. Patient stone. You emerge from the undergrowth into sunlight that falls like gold through the clouds. And there, across a wide plateau of wildflowers and mist, you see Palenque. The lost city. High upon the mountain ridge it rests, its temples and towers reaching like fingers toward the sky. Moss-covered, enveloping park, vine-wrapped, and yet untouched by time. Here the scribes did not merely write books, they built them. Every wall, every stair, every carved lintel was a sentence. Every temple was a paragraph, each plaza a chapter. The jungle could not consume this place, because it too was written into the land's dream. You walk through an open gate, where time seems to pause in reverence. Children once played here, priests sang here, and the scribes carved dreams into limestone with such precision that the stones remember still. You step into the Temple of Inscriptions. Inside, the air is cool and the light is soft, filtered through narrow slits like gentle brushstrokes of the gods. Along the walls are glyphs, hundreds of them, a language alive with shape and rhythm. A young scribe sits cross-legged before one wall. He wears a cloak made of quetzal feathers, and in his hand a chisel worn smooth. You watch as he carves, each motion slow, sacred, measured by breath. You notice something strange. The glyphs he's carving are changing as he works, not because he is making mistakes, but because the wall is alive. It responds. It remembers. This is the secret of Palenque, a living library, built not to store knowledge, but to strong with it. You place your hand on the carved wall, and suddenly your vision blurs. You see a queen praying to the moon, a jaguar leaping between stars, a child writing a story on the back of a turtle, and a dreamer, yes, you, walking through these same ruins long ago. You pull your hand away. The stone is warm. You realize now, the scribes of Palenque wrote for you, not for kings, Brer, not for time, but for those who would return through the dream, through the jungle, to listen. The young scribe looks at you and smiles. He gestures toward the center of the room, where a final glyph glows faintly. You walk to it, kneel, and read a block quote. The last library is not made of stone. It lies beyond all places, where the books have no covers, and the words sleep among the stars. End it. P. You rise again, and the jungle. Wind carries you upward. The city fades, but the stories stay. The voice of Dream Atlas returns. You have seen the sacred stone. You have heard the words in water and fire, in sky and in shadow. And now, we arrive at the last dream. The earth beneath you has faded. You float now in a space without direction. No ground, only whispers, only memory. This is not a city, not a temple, not even a place. It is something deeper. It is where the ashes of all stories come to rest. The words that were burned, the scrolls that were lost, the names erased, the dreams dismissed. They are here. You begin to see them, not clearly, but like reflections in rippling water. Child's lullaby, sung in a language no one speaks. A philosophy written in moonlight. A map made entirely of silence. A history encoded in bird songs. They swirl around you, glowing motes of meaning. They do not want to be read. They want to be felt. You reach for one. It settles in your palm like a dying star, and then, without warning, you are inside the memory. You are a scroll, unrolling in a fire. You are a monk, hiding a book beneath his robe. You are a stone tablet, dropped into a river. You are a voice, soft, insistent, speaking words that will never be written. You are all of it. You realize in this moment that nothing is ever truly lost. It becomes echo. It becomes dream. And dreams, dreamer, always find their way back. The ash falls slowly around you like snow. Each flake a forgotten word. Each word a possibility. You kneel. You gather the ash in your hands, and from it, a shape forms. Not a book, not a tablet, but a key. Inside, smooth, weightless. The moment you touch it, a door appears. Massive, silent, etched with symbols from every culture, every age. And in the center, a spiral. The same spiral carved into the sky by the Maya. The same one drawn on clay in Babylon. The same dream Hypatia whispered before the flames. You place the key into the spiral. The door opens. A soft golden light pours through, and from within, you hear the turning of pages. The voice of Dream Atlas returns, low and reverent. You've walked through memory, through water, stone, and starlight, through what was buried and what was burned. Now, dear traveler, it is time to enter the library of dreams. The door closes gently behind you, and before you stands the library of dreams. It does not stretch out in lines, but in circles, spirals, floating levels of curved shelves and woven staircases that rise and fall like waves. The light here is golden, but without a source. It simply is, like the warmth of a remembered afternoon. You step forward. The floor is soft beneath your feet, not stone, not wood, but something in between. It welcomes your weight. It knows you've come far. And now the books awaken. All around you, leather-bound volumes flutter their covers like wings. Scrolls unfurl slightly, as if stretching after a long sleep. Tablets hum with faint, ancient energy. Some books glow. Others are invisible, save for their scent of sandalwood, ink, salt, and wind. You walk slowly past a long curved shelf. Your fingers trail across a row of titles. The Book of Falling Stars. The Ephemeral Histories of Water. What the Flame Remembers. And the Moon's Unwritten Name. The Secret Index of Forgotten Queens. Songs of the Deep Time. The Second Library of Alexandria, written in dreams alone. You pause. There is a book here that calls to you. Its spine is blank, its cover warm to the touch, and the pages are filled with your dreams. The ones you had as a child, the ones you've forgotten, the ones that return to you in quiet moments, each one lovingly written in fine silver ink. On the last page it says, block quote, "To the dreamer who remembers, all lost things return." You close the book and a tear forms, but not from sadness. It is wonder, recognition, peace. You wander deeper. The library is vast, yet it never overwhelms. Each section is a world of its own. A room of rain-soaked parchments from ancient shipwrecks. A chamber of crystal cubes filled with Mayan breath script. A garden where every leaf contains a single Sumerian syllable. A lantern-lit cove where Hypatia's final scrolls rest, untouched by flame. A sphere suspended in midair where the lost songs of Babylon echo. And in the center of it all, a great circular table. Upon it lie books that have never been written. Unborn poems, unspoken truths, dreams too soft to survive the waking world. You are free to write one, if you wish. No pen is needed, only the desire. You close your eyes, and the words form by themselves. You realize then, slowly, that you are no longer reading this story. You are part of it, a chapter within the infinite pages of the dream library. You look up, and high above you, in a dome of endless constellations, you see the names of every forgotten book, shining like stars. Each one waiting. Each one remembered, each one loved. The voice of Dream Atlas returns, softer than ever. Block quote, "You have reached the heart of the dream, the place where nothing is ever lost. Here you may stay, or you may return, carrying with you the quiet knowledge that every word, every story, every dream still lives." The Library of Dreams does not close. There is no final chapter, no binding conclusion, no locked cabinet of secrets. It waits For you, for others, for the curious hearts and the tired souls, for the dreamers who remember that stories are not just told, they are lived. And so you remain, not lost, not even found, just resting between the pages, within the hush, cradled by the echoes of 1,000 civilizations that once burned bright and still burn quietly in this eternal archive of dreams. You choose a place to sleep, a velvet couch tucked between shelves of mythic scripts, a hammock hanging beneath the boughs of a tree that grew from a seed of forgotten prophecy, a soft carpet of moss in the garden of whispered words. Wherever you rest, the books surround you. They do not speak. They do not ask. They simply exist, like stars, like breath, like love. And as your breathing slows, as your eyelids grow heavier, as the space between thought and dream thins to a thread, you hear the final voice. It is Dream Atlas, warm, low, soothing as a hand brushing back your hair. Close your eyes now. The books will keep watch. The stories will hold your dreams gently. And when you wake, they will still be here, waiting to be read again. A page turns. The light dims, not in darkness, but in quiet, in comfort, in rest. You are safe, among the forgotten, among the remembered, among the infinite. Sleep well, traveler. The Library of Dreams will never forget you. So many.